Oh, so it is that power of one that really brings us together. That power of one, the community that brings us here, because the healing happens so much faster when we have that vibration together. That vibration of strong intention to be there for each other. We know one of the main tenets we stand on here at InSpirit and in religious science and science of mind is that God, love, spirit is all there is. Everything is that vibrational intelligence, creative potential, unconditional love of spirit. And since God is love and God is all there is, then we can deduct that love is all there is. But let me clarify this morning. It's not just the love of that intense affection or attraction. That's not the love I'm talking about this morning. That heals, but sometimes it hurts like, anyway, it's good. I really like that kind of intense attraction, but it's not the love we're talking about. The love we're talking about this morning is that love that in Greek is agape, which means God's love for humanity. Now I want you to think about it. It's that love, the stuff of which we're made. That's the truth. That's the stuff in us. Do you know that our human conscious mind is the only thing that can deflect the love that's all there is? And Ernest Holmes says, we're the only ones that can do that, and the effect is disastrous. I just want you to know that. But anyway, so this agape love is really cool. It's about love that's there not for itself, but for the other. You know how oftentimes we look for things to value, to love? When we find value in something, then we love it. You guys know what I mean, right? But this isn't what agape love is. It doesn't look for value. It gives value. It loves not for itself, but to impart that love, to heal the tension, the fear, the pain in others. Isn't that cool? Isn't that beautiful? That's the stuff of which we're made. That givingness, the self-givingness of spirit is Ernest Holmes' definition of love. That's the stuff of which we're made. It's in us. And this journey of life, I believe, is all about learning to activate, express, and awaken that in a bigger way. It's a journey. And so the journey we're taking this morning is about really awakening to that shift in consciousness and perception about who we are and our place in the world. I'm going to start this morning with a poem by Mark Nepo from his book, The Exquisite Risk. And it's about living an authentic life, which would mean to me an authentic life would be a life that loves without expecting anything in return. Whoa, that's a big thing. He says, in the beginning where I was touched by God. Just feel that. In the beginning where I was touched by God, before my tongue had word, before my mind had thought, there, in the fire I still carry, in the fire within I still carry, the mind and heart are one. You see, for agape love, the mind, the awakened mind, and the open heart must be one. It's the vehicle that expresses that love. Now, on this journey of awakening that I was talking about, we have mentors on our wall, mentors who have taught us about this agape love, the love that is here. They're the models of this kind of love for us to stand and learn from them, that we may become teachers, that we may become models of that. If you look at Jesus, he said Jesus was a beautiful prophet, a beloved awakened rabbi, and he taught, love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And then Gandhi, a beautiful ecumenical Hindu, said, I believe in the fundamental truths in all religions. And he said, the true religion is of the heart. He found the love, the connection in all religions. And then Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., an American Baptist preacher, leader of the civil rights movement that really changed our world. Not only America, but our world. He said, which is the title for today's talk, the most durable power in the world, the most creative force in the world is love. It is the highest good of life. It's what we're here for. And then Ernest Holmes, the beautiful founder of Science of Mind, religious science, who synthesized science, philosophy, religion together, the ancient truths and the modern wisdom, he said, love masters everything. And it's the truth that we stand on today. So today, actually tomorrow, is when we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And it's the third Monday of January, the closest Monday to his birthday, which is January 15th. And this day, the Martin Luther King Day, was established, or the idea was put into motion after he was assassinated in 1968. But it took until 1983 with President Ronald Reagan for this to become a federal holiday, because Martin Luther King, with his nonviolent activism, his nonviolent work, changed state and federal laws about civil rights with his nonviolent ways. But even with that, it took until the year 2000 for all the states to honor the holiday. It was 16 years ago, was finally when all of the 50 states honored tomorrow as Martin Luther King Day. And truly what he stood on was simply the consciousness and practice of love. And so today, my message today will be really threaded with all the concepts that he taught, that he believed in. And he had a beautiful mentor, a spiritual mentor and guide, Howard Thurman, who was one of the most prolific and beautiful African-American ministers, theologians, educators, civil rights activists of the 20th century. And he helped a lot of people, but he truly was a mentor for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And so I want us to really think today about that power of agape love of which Martin Luther King Jr. spoke, that unites us all, that agape love that's the self-givingness of life. As I said, our mind, our human conscious mind, is the only thing that can deflect the love of which we're made, because it's ever present, it's here always, and it has disastrous effects. But we know that. The beautiful 13th century mystic Rumi said, we're not here to seek love. Love's already here. We're just to find all the barriers that we've built against it, all the ways we protect ourselves from that other kind of love that causes hurt and pain and problem in our life. So often we want to retaliate, because how many of you right now feel you have a really, really, really good reason to be resentful? This life is painful, right? It's painful. It's meant to be painful. My daughter was saying, one of her teachers used to say, if you expected life to be easy, you're on the wrong planet. This is not the planet that's pain-free. This is the planet where we learn from our joys and our pains and our sorrows and our difficulties. This is the planet where we get to experience that good, the one I was saying, the intense, attractive love that can be painful at times. We learn from pain and suffering, but our job is to work through it and move up to a greater expression of life. Martin Luther King Jr. said, to meet hate with retaliatory hate only intensifies the existence of evil in our universe. Hate begets hate. Violence begets violence. toughness begets a greater toughness. We must meet the forces of hate with the power of love. Our real aim as humans is not to defeat, deflate, humiliate, but to find the common bond through friendship and understanding. And that's what he taught, and that's why we celebrate. We celebrate the work he's done that still lives on. He had a dream, but his dream is still unfolding and manifesting. This nonviolent resistance isn't about being a wimp. It's not about being a coward. Nonviolent resistance. And where Martin Luther King Jr. got that was from Jesus' teachings when he said, turn the other cheek. And he didn't mean let people beat up on you and crunch you and smash you and persecute you. He meant change the energy for good. He wanted turn the other cheek means don't buy into that stuff that brings people down. Don't buy into it. But turn the other cheek and uplift the energy, because let me tell you, when we do that, things change. Now, this journey of loving is long. Have you found that? It's long. We love the best we can. We love the best we know how. I don't know about you, but I've been hurt and I've been hurtful. Because we can only do the best we can. But this journey of awakening, no matter where we are, we can choose to see a different way. We can choose to see that this suffering, let me tell you what Martin Luther King said about suffering. It was pretty cool. I mean, suffering's not cool, but he said, suffering has tremendous educational and transforming powers. If we let it, if we awaken to it, if we let that move. And Howard Thurman, his teacher, his spiritual mentor, said, I want to be more loving in my heart. In my heart. And that's why it takes so long, because we've always heard the longest distance in the world is from the head to the heart. And he said, I want to be more loving in my heart. You know, it's really easy to get a good idea. Oh, I want to be more loving. What a great idea. But in order to do that, our mind and heart have to be connected, which means we have to ease the tension that's in our heart that wants to retaliate, wants to react with the painful words and barbs and sharpness to hurt one another. We have to learn to get that under control. We have to heal our heart. But let me tell you, that long journey not only changes us, it changes others. I had an experience, for 20 years I've been working on healing my relationship with someone in my family. I just knew we would never speak again because so much horrible stuff had been done, and I'd been hurt and humiliated, and so I'd done my forgiveness, but just for me. And I don't know if forgiveness is really forgiveness, even though we say it's just for us, unless we can really do it for someone else. So for some reason this Christmas, I thought, wow, I remember something I really love about her. Really love. And I thought, gee, I wonder if I could send her an email, but I couldn't find her email. So I called her daughter and I asked if I could send an email, and she goes, wow, you're really going to do that? She was like, well, good luck. And I said, well, it's not for me. And it really had nothing to do with me. And I started the email. This email needs no response. But I want to tell you what I love about you and times I think about you. And I let it go. But boy, I wanted to share love. I mean, even now talking about it, I've got the God bumps all over because it just felt good for me to be in a place that I could do that and mean it. I could have done it many other times, but not really meant it. But I meant it. And so just yesterday, my niece called me. And, she actually texted me and she said, wow, I can't believe it. I heard from someone else that this email was received, and it was received well. She said, you'll never hear about it, nor neither will I. But it was. And my heart swelled to know that when we can do something, really from that place of meaning it, but it's a long journey. 20 years is a long time. I hope I can get there sooner next time. Maybe there won't be, anyway. But it doesn't just affect us. There's an effect that happens for everyone. Just think right now. I'm going to challenge you with a question right now. I want you to think of someone that you could love right now, that you could not in any way expect any good in return. I want you to think about that. We'll do a prayer about that in a minute. I want you to think about someone you can love that nothing's in it for you, but somebody you can love right now to help them because you know that they have fear and insecurity and tension in their life. I want you to think about those things. Because what happens, even though this self-givingness seems like we're just giving it away, there's a lightness and a purification that comes within us when we can just make that a practice. Pema Chodron, the beautiful Buddhist nun, she said to live with an open heart is a daily practice. It's a daily practice that we have to do. And she says this, she says, we are called to be fully present with an open heart. The everyday practice is simply to develop a complete acceptance and openness to all situations and emotions. To know, even if our life is falling apart, it's a time that we can get stronger. We can have more faith. It's a time for us to grow. We can trust life, to know life is always for us and never against us. It's an opportunity for us to do that. And when we experience everything without mental reservations and blockages in our mind or in our heart, everything changes. Everything changes when you and I are able to do that, to be more loving. You know, everything. Spirit cannot stop creating and sharing and giving of itself. It's life energy. We can stop that flow, but we can also open it. Just as we have the power to deprive ourselves from that goodness, we have the power to bring understanding and transformation and a shift in consciousness to everything that happens. It's a time right now to set ourselves absolutely free, a time for us to absolutely know something greater, to set that in motion. Now, this love I'm talking about is love in action. So I want you to close your eyes because we're going to end this time together, this time that we're celebrating peace and harmony and goodness and dreams and love. We're going to do that by activating and acknowledging that spark of light, of love, of divinity that's in us right here and right now. Nothing we have to go get. It's already here. And in recognizing and knowing that we have the power right now to ignite that spark through the power of our minds and the openness of our hearts, that we can purify ourselves we get to that place where we recognize and know that we are made in the image and likeness of love, and we are loving beings. We have the power to love no matter what's coming at us. We have the power to up-level, to transcend and amend anything as we open and take the spiritual practices to change our habits of resistance to what is good, to opening to a bigger and better and more open and available goodness, a light that is ever present, the love of Spirit that's there right now. So as we activate together that light, that love within us, let that love just fill up your well of goodness inside of you. Let it enfold you as you can say, I love myself. I can't help it with all my impurities, with all my imperfections. I love myself because I am on a journey of awakening and I've done a really good job of making enough mistakes that I have the opportunity to learn and grow. Wow, I love myself. I just can't help it. Let that love within you just be vibrating to a level that it becomes that place of overflowing. Because when we love ourselves and know the power we have, we can't stop loving. We just can't stop that energy from seeing the pain or the problem or the tension or the insecurity, or the inhumanity to man happening without knowing the pain that's beneath it, knowing that we have a power to up-level and uplift that. As Ernest Holmes says, we're here to practice, 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 and then to teach. Howard Thurman said, let every person that walks with me be uplifted, because I am expressing more of God, life, Spirit's love than ever before. Let everyone be uplifted. Mother Teresa said the same thing when she said, oh, don't let anyone come to you that doesn't leave happier, feeling more loved, feeling like they matter and make a difference. That is our journey here, right now, to build the bridges of connection, just through the perception in our eyes and minds and hearts that life is good, that we are good, all of us. We make mistakes, we use the power incorrectly, but we are good. And let that, right now, just let the bridge of your conscious intention of seeing someone else in their goodness, in their light right now, just let it just expand until we're all connected with the bridges of love and light and unity as we come together in a beloved community. As we raise the energy, just feel the difference we make together. And just in that knowing, may we release the love, the light, the goodness that we feel for ourselves, for others, for God, for Spirit, for all of this. Just release it as the sparks of light that not only awaken us, but heal this planet for good. I want to truly say as we close together how grateful I am that we're on this journey together. How grateful I am because I know the difference we make for ourselves and for others as we join together in this common thread and build the bridges of love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this good that's happening. I bless and appreciate each and every one of you. And so it is.